With the Baltimore Ravens defense already ailing and losing key pieces to injury, the Ravens may have lost their best piece for the season. After another Ravens beatdown, the Baltimore Ravens head coach dodges accountability like he was starring in The Matrix.
Someone's head will roll for this. Off with his head! Off with his head!
And do you, as the fans, really believe that Lamar Jackson quit on this team? All this and more coming up next. But first, let's get it. In life, you hear phrases such as, when the tough gets going, the going gets tough. When it rains, it pours. And joy comes in the morning. Well, it is the day after the Kansas City Chiefs rain on the Baltimore Ravens parade. Morning has come and I feel no joy. And to make matters worse, we just found out that Nnamdi Madubuike is lost for the season. The neck injury that he sustained will not allow him to play anymore this season, and it may be a career ender, or it may put him on the shelf for a few years. We do not know yet. But what we do know is this putrid, horrible, no heart having defense just lost its key, most consistent defender. And even with Madubuike and a full complement of defenders, this Baltimore Ravens squad did not perform up to task. What we all thought was a dominant Super Bowl bound Ravens team, now we are in flux and we don't even know if we're going to make the playoffs. The Ravens with Zach Orr has struggled to get pressure on the quarterback, make any prominent plays, or get turnovers. And now when you take out one of, if not your best defender, it's making this situation even harder. So now the Ravens have to dig into their pocketbooks because this depth that the Ravens thought that they had, or people said that they have, is not there. So where do the Ravens go from here? Do they elevate some guys? Do they try to go for a trade? Do they find a free agent off the street? The Ravens have to make a decision soon because this season could really be lost within the next few weeks. Yes, we go up against the Houston Texans team that was not all that good, and they did shut out the Tennessee Titans. Now, if they happen to come into Baltimore and do what the Chiefs, the Bills, the Lions did, this belies a bigger problem because in the week after, we had the Los Angeles Rams. So there's a possibility the Ravens could go into their week 7 bye 1-5 with no clear sight or no clear direction on this defense of where to go or what to do. And this is not the season. This is not what we expected as Ravens fans or being anywhere close. My God, who would have thought after 4 games, the Ravens would be 1-3? We knew the schedule was tough. We knew we had some things going against us, but nobody thought that we would lose or lose the way that we have. It's not even the losses. It's the fact that people are coming in here and out physicaling our team. We are losing our way. I've said for years, we do not play like a Raven. So I don't even know why they use that moniker because nobody shows any toughness on this team. Nobody takes charge. They let people push us around. They bump us. They bully us. They hit our quarterback and we stand back and we do nothing. Where has the heart of this team gone? Or have we taken on and are a direct reflection of this head coach? And speaking of this head coach, this delusional man, he had another press conference today. And you know, from John Harbaugh, after a loss, we're going to get the same coach speak that we always get. We're going to get the same political stance of we got to do better. We're going to do better. We're a good team. We're going to blah, 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 all this other stuff. But the one thing that he never does is he never accepts accountability. He never says, well, you know what? I need to do better. As the head man, I'm not doing everything that I can. I'm not having this team prepared to come out in these games and win. This is on me. We've had different coordinators. We've had different players. There have been different iterations of the Baltimore Ravens, but yet and still these same problems belie. And never do you hear this man get up and blame himself. Now, he will sometimes, like he did today, say, we the coaches. No, not we the coaches. You, the head coach. Because he tried to throw Todd Monken under the bus and say, well, you know, the game plan offensively, we had one, but Monken didn't stick to it. Well, whose job is it to put Todd Monken in his place? If Todd Monken's going off the beaten path, whose job is it to steer the ship and point him in the right direction? Somebody on Twitter said, you have a headset on. What is the purpose of you wearing a headset if you're not doing anything with it? I was asked yesterday, why doesn't John Harbaugh walk around with a play sheet? Because he's not as involved in his team as you would think he would be. He leaves everything to his coordinators. So when things go wrong, he has a scapegoat to say, you know what? They did it. I'll fire them. Then he had the audacity to say, well, you know what? I watched the tape. Defense looked good. Like, we made some plays and it's not as bad as everybody thinks. The fans just need to have confidence that we're going to get better and we're doing our job. Why would we? This Baltimore Ravens team is making history. They are giving up 33.3 points per game, most in the NFL. In Baltimore's inaugural season, they gave up 3 30-point games that season, and they were horrible defensively. That was for the season. We're in game 4, and we've already tied that record. Yardage-wise, we're second in the league, giving up 406 yards a game. What Ravens team do you know gives up 400 yards and 33 points per game? But they look good. They're doing their job. I'm confident in them. And this is the delusion of this head coach and why we can't get anywhere. If you don't have self-awareness of what you're doing wrong, how can you fix it? If you're telling people everything's going to be all right, we're a good team, how are you going to fix what's wrong? If you're lying to everyone else and lying to yourself, you take no accountability as to what is wrong. You dare not say we are a bad team. And I hate when him, Kyle Hamilton, or whoever say this isn't who we are. It is who you are. It most definitely is. You're giving up big plays. You're giving up 33 points per game. This is who you are. Don't tell me this not us. Then who is it? Who are these imposters that are on my team, the team that I love, and are failing so miserably? John Harbaugh is the only man that could unify both sides of the Ravens flock. Because right now, there is a unity that I'm seeing, and it's starting to scare me a little bit. They want this man's head on a platter. And it's not all to do with the losses. It's about the accountability of saying, I need to do better. I need to stop being so smug, knowing that I'm secure in my job, that I don't have anything to worry about. I'm not worried about a hot seat. I just signed an extension. This is my neighbor over here, and this is my best friend. They're not going to get rid of me. So in his complacency, he has let this team go down the drain. This team since 2013 has taken on his personality and got the players that he's wanted in this organization. Now we lost all the dogs that we have, and we're a passive team. There's no aggression. And then on top of that, you take into account that the Ravens are very injured. Like, there are a lot of injuries. This is no excuse because the Ravens were bad before the injuries. This team was trending this way before so. It's essentially the same team we had last year, but we were supposed to have improvements. And those improvements have done nothing. And I know that I give Eric DeCosta a lot of flack, but are you telling me year in and year out, he's constantly bringing in bad players? He's constantly giving players that can't play. Now, 90% of them, that's true. He just draft guys just to draft them. But overall, I cannot see so many guys that were talented in college coming to this team and failing unless they're not being coached right. We said in another video, if you're not coaching it, you're allowing it to happen. And this team being soft, this team being lackadaisical, this team being like a bunch of failures is a reflection of what's being let done during practice. If I'm looking at a press conference and I know you didn't put me in the right position, you didn't put my teammates in the right position to succeed, I'm not listening to a word you say. When you point me out and say, I didn't do this and he didn't do that, but you never say me, I don't believe any word that you say.
I've seen a long line of coaches just like you, all the way from college with that same old bullshit halftime speech. Bullshit. Yes. Is that what you Yes, it's bullshit. Shit, you ain't said 2 words to me.
So before the Ravens can do anything and turn this around, they have to look to their head man, and he has to be responsible for all that is going on. You hired an inexperienced defensive coordinator who is in over his head. You hired Todd Monken, who you have an issue with, even though he runs a system somewhat of what you want done. He has his playbook, but he runs the Raven offense the way that you want it run. You watched the game. You saw Derrick Henry killing them out there. But then on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, no Derrick Henry on the field. And you want to make the excuse of, well, we don't want them to be too predictable so they know what's going on. We don't care. There were years when teams knew that the Ravens were going to run the ball. Nobody could stop us because we had heart. And I mean, we actually had an offensive line, but we had heart. I don't care if Derrick Henry's on there and they know it's going to be a run. Who cares? If you block it up and you let Lamar do his thing and you let Derrick Henry do his thing, it doesn't matter. Who's got it better than us? Well, right now, everybody. But when we had heart, when we had guys that desired to do well, still everybody, but you get the point. So whether John Harbaugh goes this season, he stays, it doesn't matter. Philosophically, fundamentally, if we don't change this culture, it's going to all be for naught. It's going to be a repeat of 2015 where we went 5-11 or something close to it, get a high draft pick and draft somebody this time that's probably not needed. But right now, the Ravens have to do a better job. They have to get their head coach under control because if he's out of whack, the rest of the team's out of whack. If the head ain't right, the body won't follow. And this is the issue. This is where we're at in a season where we thought we were going to win a Super Bowl. And then during yesterday's game, might I add, a lot of people saw Lamar Jackson sitting on the sideline with ice around his leg. They said that he was faking it. He checked out the game. Do you really think that Lamar quit on this team? Do you really think one of the most competitive guys in the NFL said, you know what, enough is enough, I'm done. I'm just going on the sideline and let you guys fend for yourself? Lamar loves his teammates. He loves the game of football. He has an agenda. He wants to get better. So do you really think if he wasn't injured, he wouldn't have sat out? If you watched our live stream yesterday, I said before, look at the way he's running. He's limping. Even in the weeks prior, people wanted to question why Lamar wasn't running during games. It's because he was hurt. Oh, he's holding on to the ball too long. It's because he can't run because his offensive line is letting him get beat down. And you could see it the way he was running. You could see it the way he was walking to the huddle. He's not right. People want to question him, and especially those Maryland people.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism. Brother has to know his place, right, boss?
You know who you are. Just couldn't wait for a reason to say something about Lamar, because even just reading the comments in some of these publications, oh, if Lamar wasn't faking an injury, what? But you don't mention the defense once again, because if you mention the defense, you have to mention who puts together the defense. And if you mention who put together the defense, you have to mention the head coach of the defense. And you're not going to mention that because when you have certain agendas to push, you want to make your people look right. But it is what it is. So you really think that he quit on his team? That's a fair question. I mean, optics and all, it may have looked that way and it may have appeared that he did, or he may just be injured and somebody told him, Lamar, go sit down. And yes, some people came over and looked at him because it wasn't the full training staff and they just congregated together around him and made a big spectacle of it. Oh, we don't believe you. Now, people believe that Nate Wiggins was hurt because you saw people around him. You saw him wincing in pain. You saw him sitting on the stretch. Like, you saw all of these things. People need optics to believe certain things are true. Now, me, I know my body and I know when I'm about to pull a muscle. I don't have to fully pull my muscle to know something's about to go down. And I don't always need medical treatment for it, but I know when it's coming. So I sit my tail down. When things are too strenuous and I overexert my body and I feel it coming on, I stop. I don't push it, especially knowing I have other things to do. So why in week 4 of a game where you know you're not coming back, would I overexert myself and possibly get a hamstring, get a calf injury where I would be out for weeks? Because Kyle Van Noy went out in week 1 and we haven't seen him back yet. But yet and still, you want Lamar to come back out there. Somebody the other day mentioned about 2022 in the playoff game, talking about, well, Lamar was probably healed. I mean, he had a PCL injury. And if you look at it, it takes weeks to come back from. But of course, everybody has a narrative to push. They want to make it seem like he quit on the team then. But when Lamar's doing well, we have nothing to say. But when things are going poorly, all the blame shifts to him. Make that make sense. What about your other leaders? What about Kyle Hamilton?
Made the same mistake politicians have. Talking all that jazz.
Talking about the fans. And then because he got so much backlash, he's backtracking. Talking about, oh no, I meant we play great defense and all this stuff. No, you didn't. You meant what you said, but you got caught up in some stuff and you didn't think that the fans would come at you like that. So you switched up.
Shut the fuck, shut. Oh shit, say it again. Say something else. Oh, say something else. Say something else, nigga.
What about Roquan Smith, who's supposed to be the leader of this defense, the guy that talks so much before games but never shows up? Now he's out with a hamstring injury. What about Marlon Humphrey? He's out for a few weeks with a calf injury. He has not played his best football over the last 2 weeks, but he has a lot to say. He does a podcast. What about those guys? Did they quit on the team? No. But of course, because Lamar is the face of this franchise, he gets the blame for everything. Did he play his best yesterday? No, he did not. And those turnovers are unacceptable, especially versus the Chiefs. For some reason, he plays the Chiefs. It's that kryptonite that he spoke of, and I think it's all mental. But when you have an offensive line that's not blocking for you whatsoever, sometimes you get shook. And especially after week 1 where Buffalo just beat you down and he got hit in his legs repeatedly, I'm sure his legs are ailing. You want to be careful and watch out because he remembers what happened in 2021. He remembers what happened in 2022. But you guys would rather him go out there and lay his body on the line for him to get injured to say, oh gosh, our season's over now. What are we going to do? But when he's smart and is like, you know what? Let me sit my butt down. Now he quit on the team. There are other guys, I believe, possibly quit on the team. You really never know. But the question, your leader, your most competitive individual, the guy who puts it on the line year in and year out for an organization that has not backed him, is ludicrous to me. It's crazy to think. But I already know a lot of you guys are looking for excuses to bash Lamar any chance you get. And it's a sad state of affairs. But yet and still, when it comes to this head coach, y'all will defend him till the end.
This is the end, friend.
even though he hasn't done anything relevant in over a decade. So you keep bashing my quarterback until he comes back and does amazing things again, and now you're back on his job. Just keep doing you. Oh, and as a matter of fact, I have one more phrase for you guys. Stop the cap.